the words of Stain's Aaron Lewis, it's been a while. It has, hasn't it? Did you miss me? Did you miss me?
Did you miss me?
So where have I been? What have I been doing? Well, YouTube, I got COVID.
Woo! What?
I know. I'm just as shocked as you are. This entire time, I thought COVID was nothing more than a made-up virus, completely and totally blown out of proportion by the mainstream media in an effort to usher in a new communist regime that could tell us when and if we could have cupcakes and how many squares per wipe we could use. Which, now of course I know you're wondering, so I'll tell you. Generally 8. Circle of trust. Unless it's taco night. And then it's unlimited. Unfortunately, I'm not joking. Now, before you start judging me, calling me wasteful, what are you, like a 3 or 4 square wiper? Allow me to explain myself. This could get awkward. I've got a strong arm, and there's a lot of pressure behind that wipe. The last thing I want is a finger playing peekaboo. Have you ever been skinny dipping at 4 a.m.? Definitely not one of life's finer surprises. I already know. Unless, of course, you're into that sort of thing. Anywho, rest assured, I am here to calm all of your fears and answer all of your COVID questions. Question number 1, is COVID real? Yes. Question number 2, can you die from COVID? Do you have any relatives in heaven? Would you like to meet them today? Let me answer that question with a series of my own questions. Can you die on your morning commute to work even though you've taken all the necessary precautions? You buckled upon entry. You hold the wheel appropriately at 10 and 2, and you obey all surrounding area traffic laws. Can you still die on your morning commute to work? Yes. Can you die filling your vehicle with gasoline in the dead of winter when the air is its driest and static electricity is most prominent, even though you've taken the necessary precautions? Yes. You lotion your hands every morning, noon, and night. And for us working men, that means slathering on the O'Queefs. You use gloves to grab the gasoline nozzle, and you never, under any circumstance, re-enter the vehicle once you have exited and the fueling process has begun. People die in drive-thrus. They die in rainstorms. Dallas McCarver died in 2017 eating an overcooked chicken breast. Of course you can die from COVID-19. You can die from anything. Doesn't mean you gotta freak out, start judging people and accusing people of not caring about others. But you don't understand. The surrounding counties are showing increased numbers daily. We are breaking records every day. This is so terrifying. Yes, Jennifer, we know. We can look the numbers up ourselves. But we're trying to live our lives over here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lose my cool. But, you know, some of you are so scared and you just needed that. You needed me to metaphorically shake you a little bit. For those of you who are still scared, I don't know what to tell you. You need to go spend some time alone in a corner. thinking about you and what your problem is.
That's right.
Question number 3. What's it like to have COVID? Well, it's different for everyone. For me, I had some body aches, quite possibly the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. A very annoying and nagging cough that took some time to go away. I threw up one time and had some diarrhea.
He's going poopy.
And then you know what? I got over it. It went away. Remember that time that something happened in your life and it was an incredible inconvenience? You hated it terribly, but then you got over it?
Me too.
Question number 4. Is there life after COVID? Absolutely. I'm living my best pre-COVID life right now. As a matter of fact, I'm out running errands. Taking the melter by the shop to have a new radiator put on it, picking up a new striping machine, and taking down my Christmas lights. Which, by the way, I want to stop right here for just a second. Spirit Thief, I know you watch my videos, and I would just like to say that I beat you. Like a little toddler having a temper tantrum, I took you over my knee and I spanked your little hiney. And I did it in front of our entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
Question number 5, is COVID really that contagious? Well, for my household it was. Everyone got it, even the dog, which is extremely rare, but can happen. I know, because in my absolute shock and disbelief, I researched the fire out of this stuff. I never could get the vet on board though. They never would really tell me, hey, yeah, we think it's COVID, but I didn't tell the vet everything. I'll explain. We're gathered around the kitchen table, enjoying a nice storytelling sesh, with my boy Mason James sitting at my right. That's his spot at the table. Well, not at the table, but near the table. A dog sitting at the table is just disgusting. But he sits there on the floor next to me in hopes that I'll throw him a scrap or two, which I never do because MJ has a very sensitive digestive system, and anything other than his dog food will give him diarrhea. And in the midst of one of my stories that I was telling my family, I thought, you know what would really drive the point home here is if I turned and spit at my dog. I don't know why, okay? As a professional storyteller, I can't tell you why we do some of the things that we do. Only that we do. And in this particular instance, I spit at my dog. Now, in an effort for my dog to showcase his extreme loyalty to me, he caught it. So that was disgusting. I know that's disgusting. But at the same time, you have to commend his incredible loyalty. And that was that. We all were kind of like, and then we moved on. Now, I also want to point out here, before you start judging me like you have been this entire video, that I didn't know at that time that I was sick. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. But nonetheless, the next day I started feeling bad, and the following day, Mason started feeling bad too. And I thought, uh-oh, I gave my dog COVID-19. And so I called the vet, but I had this little bit of a dilemma when I called them because I couldn't necessarily say I spit in my dog's mouth because that's questionable and disgusting. So I had to just sort of like kind of lead them in that direction. And they were never willing to go there. I said things like, our entire family has COVID. And then my dog started feeling bad, and I'm pretty sure he has COVID now too. And they said what I already researched, which that's extremely rare. Although it is possible, it's very rare. And I'm like, yeah, but it's really the only reasonable explanation here. And they said, well, it sounds to us like your dog may have lepto. And I go, no, that's not the case because he was vaccinated for lepto. And you can't get anything that you've been vaccinated for. At least that's what the government tells us. And they said, no, just bring him in. We'll have a look-see and let you know what we think. So I take him in and they go, hey, your dog is incredibly sick. We think he has a virus. And I said, like, maybe COVID-19? And they said, no, we don't think that's likely in this situation because dogs can very, very rarely contract the virus. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you think it is? And they're like, we're not sure. He's just really sick. And so he spent 5 days in the doggy hospital getting IVs and antibiotics and all these other crazy medications that you give to dogs that you love. And each day, to the vet's credit, they called me morning and evening to give me a Mason James update. And each time we talked, I would say, don't you think this is COVID-19? And they said, no, that's very unlikely. And of course, I'm over here going, bro, I spit in my dog's mouth.
Ugh, that was nasty.
He's exhibiting all the signs and symptoms of COVID-19. He's got COVID-19. But I can't say anything because in some weird way, I feel like spitting in your dog's mouth labels you as like a freak in society. And Lord knows I don't want to be a freak. So I just had to bite my tongue as they worked their way around and said, ultimately, we may never know what this dog had, but he is feeling better now on day 5, and you can come pick him up. And so I did. Mason, his medicine is truly a task, mainly because anytime you get the peanut butter out, this whole like drooling thing starts. I know, Mace, it's not your fault. See, here's the spoon. The lid. He knows the drill. He is, I don't know if I can say this on air, but he is dripping. Just want to go ahead and show you. So now I've got to clean it up. Here you go, Bulldog. That's a liver pill, 4 antibiotics, and a doggy multivitamin. That's because I love Mason James like no other, and I gotta make sure that he stays well. And while they may never know what Mason James had, me, my family, and all of you know exactly what was wrong with my boy. So that's it. I hoped I answered all of your questions and calmed some of your fears. I'd like to think I took away all of them, but in reality, I know that's practically impossible, especially with people spouting numbers, fear-mongering daily. It's almost impossible to get away from COVID-19 and all of its terrifying effects, the way that it's just ravaging our nation and turning all of us into insensitive, thoughtless, judgmental jerk-offs. But I did my best. Consider this a public service announcement from the new doc on the block.